Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm creating this video to talk about cats and how they tie into demons and angels. According to the JOS, according to the Joy of Satan, they say that cats, many demons come in the form of cats, and that they guide humanity and that they care about us. And as I already point out, many contradictions, you know, to the fact that they don't, and that they don't give one shits about humanity, but they just put on a good poker face like they do, or you know, they hide behind a very complex system that they themselves are manipulated by, but which I kind of doubt. But anyway, so if you talk to a lot of people that get involved in angel magic, New Agers, you know, people that think Satan is evil or demons are evil, you know, complete opposite of what Joy of Satan thinks. If they will come in like they talk about their experiences with the Syrians, beings that come from the constellation Orion that come in the form of cats, and they also talk about how these angels come in the form of cats as well. And according to the JOS, only demons come in the form of cats. Angels cannot, and only demons, you know, can have blue auras. You know, angels, angelic beings don't have blue auras. You know, the color blue is another thing. The Joy of Satan says that, you know, it's one of Satan's colors. You know, and I don't see how the color blue can be anybody's color, because you know that color has always existed. You know, and you can't make a claim on something as your own if it existed before you have. And anyway, so I also want to talk about how cats are. If anybody thinks cats are you know, I mean, I don't got a problem with cats. I personally I like them. I like cats. I like dogs. I'm an animal lover, period. But I think cats kind of. I think they're given a little bit too much credit in what they deserve. I mean, people call them protectors, but I mean, I have a cat. I used to own cats, and they never protected me from, you know, bad spirits or chased away any bad spirits and all that. And same with dogs. You know, I've had a few dogs in the past. Well, my grandma, she still has dogs, and I've seen these dogs growl at spirits. You know, back when I was open enough to sense spirits myself and see them. But I've seen dogs actually growl at spirits and all that, but still, you know, it doesn't chase away the spirits. These spirits can kill cats and dogs anytime they want. They can do the same with human beings, because these spirits are aliens, they're extraterrestrials, and they operate from the astral. A lot of these spirits, anyways, I think. And some of these spirits could be human, but I don't know. Anyways, though, I also wanted to point out, like, you know, we see, you know, cats and lions really glorified throughout many ancient cultures and all that. And hardly we ever see, you know, animals like wolves. You know, wolves don't. It's like the saying, you know, the lion performs in the circus. The lion may be more powerful than the wolf, but you don't see the wolf performing in the circus. Lions can be, you know, somewhat domesticated, whereas wolves can't. I mean, wolves are, you know, you don't. I mean, you know, you don't fuck with a wolf. You can't teach it tricks. You can't make it subservient like a dog, or you know, make it perform. I mean, how many wolves do you actually see perform in circuses? Yeah, I mean, I could be all wrong about that though, but I'm not no animal expert, so maybe you could domesticate a wolf. But fucking, as far as I'm concerned, you can't. And you know, we hardly ever see, you know, we don't see any statues in ancient cultures glorifying the wolf, and to be, you know, to be a wolf, to you know, to be that disobedient person against the gods and goddesses, because wolves don't follow no gods and goddesses. Wolves don't have no master. The lion may have a master. The circus clown is sitting there, you know, whipping the lion into shape. The lion sits there and pounds it, you know, and retracts back. You know, I mean, a lion can. I mean, a lion sometimes, you know, they bite back, but after being whipped and whipped and whipped so many times, you know, but fucking but still, you know, they pretty soon get whipped back into shape, and they're back on that stand performing tricks again. Whereas a wolf, you know, you don't see that happening with a wolf, and the wolves, you know, they're even disobedient to the circus. I mean, they'd be disobedient to the circus clowns. The circus clowns, you know, being higher beings than the lion is, and despite the fact that they're clowns, you know, they can't, you know, treat the wolf the same way as a lion, because, you know, wolves are you know, more, I'm gonna say more powerful in that regard, you know, and you even see this in the wild and all that. You know, lions are so glorified in the mainstream media, in the you know, the J chosen race. You know, the first letter of this chosen race is a J, and they control Hollywood, they control the mainstream media, they control all the news, they control our government, they control the major banks, corporations. They have big, large hook noses. I mean, you know, I can't come out and say who they are because I'll get reported, and my channel will be terminated, as I say in, you know, a lot of my other videos. But you guys get the good idea. But anyways, you guys get a good idea of who I'm talking about. But in Hollywood and in the mainstream, the lion's always brought up, you know, in front of the face of the people. You know, like this animal has honor. This animal is brave. This animal's, you know, it's the king of the jungle. It's stronger than every other animal in the wild. You know, no animal can amount up to the lion. You know, and this is a bold-faced lie. If anybody has ever watched any serious documentaries about lions and all that, lions are actually a pretty kind of, they're kind of, you know, similar to they're a scavenger species. They very rarely, you know, succeed in their hunts, and when they do get a food source, it's always they're always scavenging. It's always, you know, they're eating from dead bodies, or they're stealing the kills of other animals, you know, and very rarely do you see a lion go one-on-one with one of those what do you call it, buffalo, with one of those wild bisons in Africa, or any other animal. It's always, they do it always in packs. They always do it in a cowardly way, and lions are a very cowardly animal. The felines, the cats are very, very cowardly, you know. They're not what would you say? They're not honorable animals. They're not how to say? I mean, it's hard to say that they're it's hard to call them an icon of honor, you know. And it's like you see this shit, like, you know, if you watch documentaries about the wild and all that, you'll see what I'm talking about. You know, there's a saying, you know, like on Wizard of Oz, there's a reason why they depicted the lion as cowardly, you know, and all the lion wants is some bravery, because the lion, you know, rarely has you know, balls of its own. I mean, it's not much of a, I mean, despite its strength and all that, you know, it hides behind the pride, or, you know, it can never, you know, really do things one-on-one to any other animal. I mean, have you ever seen a video where, I mean, I've seen plenty of videos online where you know, that you got one female hippo or one young hippo, and there's like 20 or 30 lions jumping on this hippo trying to take it down, and still, you know, and the hippo ends up killing one of the lions in the process. And then and still, you know, despite the 30-minute of these lionesses, you know, all up on this hippo still gets away and runs to the river, and that's that. I've seen videos where, you know, one hippo charged the whole pride of lions, and they all went running, you know. I mean, very rarely do you see lions kick ass, you know, like they're portrayed in the movies and all that. And these are animals that we're kind of like, you know, kind of brought up upon, you know, and kind of brainwashed by the media, by the mainstream media, into thinking that, you know, these animals are something special, but they're not. I mean, there's a thing about, you know, one thing about cats is they say, you know, cats are very sacred to Satan, you know, and I tend to think Satan and Jehovah are one and two being. I mean, one one and the same being. EA, NK, EA. I mean, how do you pronounce EA in Sumerian? I think it's like Yah. How do you pronounce it? But it sounds similar to Yahweh. It sounds. I think if you pronounce EA in Sumerian and Sumerian tongue, it sounds very similar to Yahweh from the Bible. Yahweh, the Christian God. NK, the Lord of the Earth. You know. If you compare the Christian God with the God NK and all these other ancient gods, they share a lot of the same characteristics. So this is telling you that this is, you know, this is the same God. I mean, it's no secret that Christianity was heavily plagiarized. I mean, Christianity heavily stole from the pagan religions. It's a plagiarized religion in itself. I mean, almost all the material from the Bible is stolen from, you know, the ancient Egyptian religion or the Sumerian religion, and these are pagan religions. So when we got, you know, like cats are so looked up upon, you know, and I think even in the Bible it talks about some of these angels having the faces of lions, you know, being cat-like beings. Cats are they say cats are symbolic of Satan. Satan's supposed to be a symbol of freedom. But then at the same time, the bird is a symbol of freedom. The serpent of knowledge, the serpent, you know, the Kundalini serpent. The serpent is also supposed to be a symbol of freedom, you know, and good health and knowledge and wisdom. But you know, you got cats. Cats. What is the cat's biggest enemies? The cat's biggest enemies are birds and serpents. You constantly always see cats killing serpents, mice, and birds. You know, so you know, I mean, well, I think that alone is. I don't think that's a coincidence. You know, I think this kind of really does reflect upon the nature of these demonic / angelic beings that serve these Nordic, which I tend to think are alien human hosts, or, you know, on some level anyways, these Nordic gods. So, you know, that come in the form of cats. Or perhaps some of them really are, you know. Perhaps there's another alien race that's genetically engineered like human beings that are cat-like. And according to some abductees and people that are contactees, like, you know, and I'm talking about contactees like there's one English guy that's a really big famous contactee on YouTube. I think he shares the same first name as me, Richard, but I can't remember. But he's a famous UFO contactee on YouTube, and he's from England, and he talks about, you know, these Syrians and these cat-like aliens and all that too. But he says that they directly work with the alien greys, the insectoid, like the mantid aliens. And this guy even goes on to say that the mantid aliens are kind and nice to him, and they're loving. Which an insect is definitely not loving or kind. I mean, they could put on, an intelligent fucking insect-like creature like the mantids or the greys. They can definitely put on the act that they're loving and caring and that they care for your well-being, but they can't even conceive such an emotion. I mean, they could pretend, you know. They can conceive it enough to pretend, you know, but they can mimic it. They can mimic. That's what they do, and just like a parrot can mimic in English, you know, language can mimic words, but does it understand those words? Does it understand one word that, you know, that's coming out of its own mouth? No, it doesn't. You know, the same with the greys on some level, and these mantids. They can mimic human emotion. They can mimic that they're loving and kind and nice, but they don't know. I mean, they can't. That's all they can do is just mimic the words, but they'll never understand the words or what it actually is to, you know, to be loving or nice. And so, you know, in a way they're the same as a parrot. But anyways, though, yeah, I mean, they say that, you know, these angels and demons, they come in the form of cats, and cats are, you know, are very sacred to Satan, and blah blah blah, and they're just, you know, a very sacred animal, and lions are so sacred and so honorable, and when in reality, you know, hyenas are more of a honorable, species than a lion is. Hyenas that can actually catch their own food, and most of the time they do, over the lion. And it's usually the lion, that has to scavenge off of, what the hyenas eat. And lions being the king of the jungle, is kind of a stretch, because if anybody does any serious research over, just how cowardly and scavenger-like the lion is, and then you would know, even, lions, most of the time, adult male lions even kill cubs and rip the cubs to shred, and eat them. Cannibalism is fucking very big among, and this is among all animals, but lions, they practice that shit like crazy. So the mainstream media giving us this face of the lion being honorable, kind, and king of the jungle, and fucking, and this being portrayed all throughout ancient cultures around the world, that the lion is, and then, and that very seldom do we see the wolf being brought up, a wolf being disobedient. You never see ancient cultures talk about disobedience being a key virtue. And in fact, you always see ancient cultures talking about obedience to the gods, whether they're the pagan gods or, today, it's the same bullshit. Be obedient to God. Obedience is, be obedient to the system, to the slave masters. In ancient times, it was no different from the pagan gods. Be obedient to the pagan gods. Obedience is a key virtue. And I even remember hooded cobras, fake ass, on the e-groups, talking about the same thing. Obedience is one of the key things that the gods appreciate, that these gods and goddesses appreciate. And I wish I could find the sermon myself. I made a video about it in the past where Hooded Cobra said this, and some people didn't believe me. They said, well, show me the sermon. And I said, well, okay. And I made a video of it, but I don't know if it's set on private or or I deleted it. I might have to go back and check, because I do know, I go off topic a lot on that video, so I'd have to edit it down to the part where he does say that shit, but he does. And so I'm just saying, fucking, I'm just throwing some shit out there, some food for thought, that, cats, demons aren't the only ones that come in the form of cats. Angels do too. Go look up the stories for yourself. Go research people that get involved in angel magic, people that are New Agers, and talk to angels. And you'd see that these same people say that they come in the form of cats. A lot of them say they come in the form of cats, cat-like beings. And some of these idiots even have Bastet statues and all that, and they're saying how angels are so good and here to guide the descendants of humanity and all that. And some of them even say that angels preach the same bullshit about the blue flame meditation. Like the Joy of Satan talks about blue flames and blue being a satanic color that angels fear. You have a lot of people that fucking practice angel magic say the same thing about the blue fire, that angels teach them how to use the blue fire to chase away bad spirits. Research this for yourself if you don't believe me. And actually, if you actually care about the truth, if you weren't like me and most other people that get involved with the JOS, that are usually kids. Back when I first got involved with the JOS, I was very young myself, and I never questioned any of the shit they said, and all the red flags that of people saying that angels come in the form of cats as well, and fucking and angels tell them to use blue fire or blue fire to use against evil spirits and all that, and all the contradictions within the JOS, like the funny shit with their HPs, and I bring up a lot of contradictions on my videos and all that. And anyways, though, I ignored, or the fact, here's one of the other major contradictions, the fact that they would consider, even letting a teenager become a high priestess within the JOS, like Maxine herself. That's another video in itself. If anybody wants to check out that video, it's called about Salem Burke. It's a video about Salem Burke. It's on my channel. But I point out some of the major contradictions in how the gods choose teenagers in order to be high priests and high priestesses, which teenagers are nothing more than manipulation tools. If these gods were legit, they would never allow a teenager to become part of the ministry, a high priest or high priestess. They would then again, I mean, if these gods were legit, I mean, somebody that would be a legit high priestess or high priest to me would be somebody that would have already ascended and escaped this matrix, period. But you know, some kid or some, you know, anybody else, no. But if they were somewhat legit, they would make sure that people that they do allow to become a high priest or high priestess would be like people older, like in their 40s or 50s, and somebody that's responsible, has wisdom, knowledge, discipline. You know, teenagers don't have any of that. So you know, that's one of the biggest red flags right there. But yeah. Anyway, so food for thought.